Okay, so here we go again with another replay analysis. This time around we coached a player called R4izz3n. He's Adam in this game. And he asked me to look at one of his games because he think that in this game in particular he performed well, but he also thinks that there could have been done more. Let me just check if there's anything else. Nope, nothing concerning about this game. So I'm gonna hop right in and let's see how this turns out. Let me skip the first few minutes. Unfortunately, this cannot be sped up. I just want to have a look at the draft and when he picked Stormspirit in particular. Okay, so he still doesn't have Stormspirit yet. Okay. What's this? The Stormspirit pick? Okay, so I think in this game, Stormspirit is not a hero which is good in this game. This is because of the fact that the Omni Knight heavily counters Stormspirit. Like when Omni Knight applies his repel, you have no chance of killing that target because basically all of your damage comes from magical damage, and as well as the fact that Spirit Breaker can simply charge you and stop your split pushing. Another fact that I really want to emphasize is that, especially on the Radiant side, a lot of mid laners can make use of the jungle. And like from what I see, you already have a Bloodseeker, and I'm pretty sure that at your MMR range, this guy is going to go into the jungle instead of supporting. So the jungle will probably be occupied, and you cannot make good use of something like a Stormspirit who is good at farming the jungle at the same time. So on the Radiant side, you can basically become a flash farmer by stacking in the earlier minutes and then simply farming it with your AoE abilities. Like I said before, when I already watched 2 videos with you, the Alchemist game and the Windranger game, and it was pretty much the same. Like I think at the Alchemist you were on the dire side, but I definitely said that last time in the Windranger game. Okay, let's gonna skip forward. Hurry up, purchase. Okay, this Pudge pick is also pretty greedy. Like your support combo is pretty weak. You do not have a solid, like, fixed support. If this is the only support, probably Mirana can support as well if Bloodseeker goes offlane. It's pretty greedy because you do not have something like a setup, and either Pudge or Mirana rely on or both of them rely on a setup to make their skill shots hit 100%. Like if you have something like a Conquer or a Shadow Demon, it's not hard to hit a Mirana arrow or a Pudge hook. So yeah, I think the Spectre pick is also pretty weak. You have Luna and Bloodseeker who can shut down the illusions pretty fast. Stormspirit doesn't mind Spectre because he usually dodges a lot of the attacks. And Bloodseeker is pretty fast, so I don't think that the Spectre illusions are able to hit him, especially early on. Okay, yeah, now this is gonna happen. Okay, let's see what you're doing. Okay, I'm just gonna free camera, and you were on the Radiant side. Yeah, you got a ward, that's good. Especially on a Stormspirit with not maximum attack range for a range, like with a decent attack range, but not the highest possible. It's always good to have a little bit of uphill vision and see what's going on. I don't understand why you're doing that, because what's probably gonna happen, I don't think that, especially in your MMR range, people are going to gank the rune very often. The enemies could, like with a Spirit Breaker, Monkey King, Omni, they could really contest it, but I would like you to place the Observer ward the instant you got it. If your support's not going to do it, at least you should be doing it. And this is exactly what I thought would happen. The Mirana goes into the offlane with a pretty weak arrow level 1, even though there are a lot of catches. And the Bloodseeker's jungling, which really slows down your farming speed, or the potential farming speed you have. Okay, Mirana fires arrows and tries to contest the rune, which is pretty greedy. Like, she just has ample mischance, and Mirana doesn't have the best damage. Okay, neither does Necrophos. Does she has armor at least? Okay, armor is decent. It's okay, but she still trades worse than the Necrophos because he has a healing ability. Okay, yeah, you got some regen, you got some stats, which is fine, I think. You really make use of the quick buy option, and I think that's good. I'm not sure why you block off the range creep like so. You could have, just like any other lane, you could let the range creep breach in order to deny it pretty early, but you start blocking it. Oh, okay, you have a Monkey King. That's good for you. Like, you can harass this guy. He has less range than you, I think, even with the bonus range. Yep. So you could just like start harassing him, pull this lane up, use the aggro trick to get rid of your range creep, pull this lane up so he has to walk all the way and you can simply trade hits with him. He doesn't even have the best regen in the mid lane. The PMS first would have been the better option, I think, for him. Yeah, and you start realizing and start trading hits. That's good. That's what you need to be doing. When he walks up to you, just cast a remnant and he should back off because he will get too much damage. Okay, nothing's gonna happen. Like, I'm just gonna fast forward a little because this is pretty boring. In a situation like that, just try to pull the creeps back as far as possible. So yeah, so you have more opportunity to harass the Monkey King, especially like in the first minute when you saw that he didn't have the Pullman shield. You should have made use of that and burn through his regen. If you just harass him a lot, then you should be you should be fine. Okay, and make sure you're not getting 4 stacks of Jingu Mastery, but I'm pretty sure you're doing. In a situation like that, just go uphill. If he starts attacking you, you can walk away, cast a static remnant, and hit him back. Okay, you should have checked that the Jingu Mastery went off. This was bad, because when he gets the Jingu Mastery, he just deals shit tons of damage. And you shouldn't let him get 4 stack of Jingu Mastery in the early game. Okay, in a situation like that, just like before, when that arises, just pop the self. If you want to heal up with the tangos now, like the self heals 400. So if you want to use the tangos now, it will take a lot of time. They are not meant for healing such a big amount of HP. If he ever gets that combo off, you're dead again. If he managed to pop the Jingu Mastery again, you're dead. Okay, this is bad that the Bloodseeker used the bottle around the 3-minute mark. This screws up your lane, I think, and it really makes you like, yeah, you have to be less aggressive now because you cannot just trade as much hits as you wanted to with having the bottle. You could make effective use of getting both mana and HP, and you could force them to go to or you could simply harass some more and lose HP in the meantime because you have the bottle. I think you are clearly being too defensive, like you focus way too much on farming. I would love to see you harassing this guy a lot. Every time he comes up and tries to get one of those last hits or there, just simply cast a remnant and use the overload. Your bottle's coming in, so you could have been you would have been able to immediately regen, and right now you're just stalling the bottle. Okay, in this wave you should start pushing, because when you push in the wave, like, just clear these fuckers and try to grab a rune. Unfortunately, you do not have vision on it, but it should be an opportunity. And always, like, your like your auto attacks are not doing much damage to him. Even if you have the additional damage from overload, it's not that much. So try to get him to move in one of your static remnants. I'm not sure why you're using your time so inefficient. Like, there's creeps dying, you go back to block, you should be getting the rune. And as said before, make better use of your mana. This has always been the issue with all your mid laners. You're not making use of the bottle. You're not making a good use of your stats. Stuff like that. You could be way more aggressive, trade more hits, use your static remnant in order to do something. You're simply like you're being so like AFK farming. You could be a bot. A bot is also simply last hitting and not really good at trading hits. And you're definitely not trading. In this game again, like I think at least the Monkey King should have burned through all this region by now. But he's still sitting on a tango. And you're still sitting on a tango and a self, so you buy all that region and you do not use it efficiently. Okay, before he was level 6, you had way better opportunities. Now you need to wait till you hit level 6 before you can start doing something. The Monkey King especially is like pretty weak in the earlier stages. The Jingu Mastery really fucks with you, but you can kite him around a little with the static remnant and the slow from the overload. So yeah, I think you should be trading hits instead of simply last hitting all the time. Like in between. Okay, this was like good. You try to last hit as well. And you're not using like the bottle time, the rune timing efficiently. Like this guy has seriously nothing to counter your pushes. He doesn't want to use the Boundless Strike for that, especially not if he doesn't have Jingu Mastery up with 4 stacks. So you could be simply pushing in the waves. At times like this, you can get all last hits with the remnant. Okay, you're doing fine, and just give him another hit. So he just has to use his region at some point. Okay, he finally did it. You're just like I said that before. You're not playing around all the region you have. You have a bottle, you have a tango, you have a healing staff. You even have the shrine still up, and you're sitting on full HP and almost full mana, which is like it's super bad. You're buying all these items and they give you nothing. Like, what would have changed if you didn't buy the bottle? You didn't use it. Like you got it for 3 minutes and you didn't even zip it once. So nothing would have changed. If you just rushed boots, you would have boots by now, but no bottle, which wouldn't have changed a thing in this mid matchup because you're just not using it. Damn. Okay, I don't know how this happens. Like the creep wave should seriously never be under your tower. Okay, this was good, and immediately apply aggression. That's also good. And I hope you kill this guy. Okay, yeah, he deserved that. Okay, just cast the remnant. Oh, okay, yeah, you fucked up a little there. I think. Okay, let's jump back a little. You could have done this fight way better. Okay, this guy comes in. When you hear this funny jumping stuff go on, like immediately pop the remnant, because he's probably gonna jump you. Like, where else should he go? In the time he jumped up to this tree and like he just walked there and jumped up. He could not have reached for Bloodseeker, so why should he be using the Primal Spring instead of just getting down? It would have simply been a waste of mana. So you instantly like pop the remnant instantly when you hear the sound. Like, even though if he doesn't jump onto you, at least you can see. Then next thing is, I wouldn't jump onto him, but away, because what is this guy trying to do? Well, as said before, he tries to stack up Jingu Mastery. And if you jump back a little there, you have 400 attack rate. That should be like here. You can simply attack him on and on, without him being able to attack you, especially if he has to walk through the remnant, and you can simply overload again. Just jump back a little. Okay, right here you're doing the overload hit. Yeah, I think this would have changed a lot. Like in that time, when he's so low already, don't use the remnant. Just jump back a little again, and you would have survived there. Like, you killed him, but yeah, what's worth killing him when you're already dead? You don't get any XP. You get the goal, which is fine, but You need to be in a trade like that. You always want to be the last one dying, if necessary. Like, you don't want to die at all, but if you get overwhelmed and you die, you always want to be the second one to die, because you then get the experience as well. And yeah. Okay, you come back to the lane, which is good. Like, the storm, you still need to farm a lot more, so I think this is absolutely fine. Just as said before, like, for the duration of 4 minutes you already have the bottle, but you didn't use it once. It's pretty much all the same I said in the Wind Ranger game. Yeah, one additional thing is, as said before in the drafting section, you could have simply been stacking this camp when you have downtime. As if you would push the lane, you definitely would have some downtime, which you can use to simply stack. And when you have max level on the Remnant and Overload, you can simply farm it, and you should be fine. Okay, yeah, last hitting needs to get more accurate. You're really missing out on some last hits. And I think you don't have to be. Okay, yeah, this guy has more damage than you. Didn't know that. Yeah, because he got his face boots. This is why he has more damage. Okay, this is good. You deny the opportunity for the MK to get there. Okay, this was sad, like really sad. Yeah, okay. You tried to kill him there, but your Mirana has been fine. This was just not worth it. I don't think that you are a real threat to the Spirit Breaker yet, with such low levels and not enough mana. So I think you could have simply stayed in the mid lane farming. There was no need to rotate for the Mirana. She was safe, like the Spirit Breaker was so far in. Yeah, yet again, just push in the lane, go for runes. Like, you bought a bottle and you didn't even go for a rune once. Like, you did nothing at all. You did not utilize that bottle at all. You have free regen, man. You can just, like, you don't have to go back. You have regen all the time, and you didn't use it just once. This was the first zip you take. Like, 5 minutes having bottle, and it's the first time you zip the bottle. Oh, another thing you can do is, in a situation like that, make sure you start hitting those creeps, so you can get as much as possible with the static remnant, because you deny the opportunity for the Monkey King to deny all of the creeps at once, and you can just take them all at once. So with really being mana efficient, like, it's not like you have to burn 500 mana in the meantime. So yeah, another thing. Worthless rotation. This guy doesn't change a thing about the Necrophos Spirit Breaker combo, so there's no need to run back that far. Yeah, maybe you were just cautious because you saw them being there, but I think you don't have to be as much. Like, you have a solid escape mechanism using the ball lightning, so unless Spirit Breaker catches you and Monkey King pairs up his stun and Necrophos uses his ult, which he just used in the fight, you should be fine. Okay, this is good. I really like that. This was decent, like the Pudge did good here. And what are you doing? Okay, yeah, this is good. In addition, you could just swap out the Null Talisman. Okay, I don't like that. You start last hitting like single targets again. You should be focusing on getting the whole creep as often as possible to maximize your farm. And the speed you farm. You would have so much space if you would know how to use all of his skills in a good way. And like, if you look at your last hit scores, you know it's bad. Like, you can do better, and I know that you can do better. If you play your core position, you're way better than that. And rum bum 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 bum. Okay, like imagine Stormspirit like being an early pushing anti-mage. I'm not sure, like it's pretty similar. Like even if the characters do other things, but you can just be as aggressive with pushing as an anti-mage. And the second you saw so many people being bought, you should have forced that tower to go down. You can push the lane so efficiently, like way better than an anti-mage. Maybe like an anti-mage with a Battle Fury, as fast as him, but you're just level 10 and you don't have a Battle Fury. Like you don't need as much farm as an anti-mage to start split pushing. Like stormspirit can do it pretty early on, especially in the mid lane. So the tower should definitely like be dead by now, especially against someone like Monkey King who doesn't have as much counter push potential. You could have definitely taken the tower instead. Like instead of using your spells and finally making use of 800 mana you have by using 1/8 of it to cast a static remnant, you're simply auto attacking. Okay, maybe you start pushing now. Yes, you do. Finally. I'm not like you shouldn't be using the ball lightning just for the overload. I think I don't like that. Okay, you reacted properly here. You didn't see the spirit breaker. The Monkey King made weird noises. This is also something I do not get, where you got the power treads. For later purpose, I think it's good, but in the earlier stages, you just need some mana. Like you don't need to be a fast-hitting hero, and I'm not sure what's common, but nowadays I could simply check in Dota buff, but I'm pretty sure that you usually want to go mana boots first to have some more sustain on the mana pool. And then transition into like getting rid of it and transitioning into the bloodstone. Okay, I cannot see that. Yeah, it's usual to just get mana boots first, and then disassemble them and turn them into the bloodstone from them. Like you can do both, but from what I see, it's the usual way to grab mana boots in most of the scenarios. Cannot tell you when not, but I think getting the mana boots is definitely something you should be doing. Like in this game, it's okay. You can use the sustain against something like a spirit breaker who can come at you early on, and you have more HP. I think it's fine, but just to give you another notch of options. You could make use of, like, for you the mana boots would have been wasted because you're not wasting you're not using your mana at all. But I think in this particular scenario you could have, simply made better use of the arcanes. You could have done pushing in the earlier stages. Okay, when do you go that? Mid matchup should be something like that. He's favorable. Matchup is something like that. It's not favored. Okay, I'm not sure. Like I do not see the system behind it right now. Okay, like one thing you need to look out for, and at least you could try. Okay, nope. What are you doing? Stop! Just cast the remnant and get out. Okay. Yeah, luckily it worked out. Okay, what I wanted to say was, you're going in there, which is good. Like, just see, you still got the healing self. Like, 30 minutes in, you didn't use the healing self, which is good. Like, better have it than not. Okay, you hit it. That was good. Then you use that, and you get rid of the illusion, which I like. Okay, let me see that again, just shortly. Really slow to see like what exactly you're doing. Okay, you're charging in. You hit in the meantime. This is good. And then you start casting Vortex. Hit the illusion, which is also fine. And you could dodge that. I'm pretty sure that the cast animation should be a little bit slower than your ball lightning cast animation, so you could dodge it. And in this time you can mitigate a lot of damage if you just cast the remnant again and get out. And especially like you used the ball lightning twice before hitting, so yeah, you wasted a lot of mana there. And in addition, what are you doing? Okay, your shrine is down. In addition, you could have had more HP in the end. In this scenario, you can swap back to agility and make more use of the bottle, because it just helps helps you regen early on. Okay, you're walking back to lane, which is good. And oh, I thought you'd finally get something with a bottle, but you didn't. Okay, I'm not sure why you're using the soul ring here. What the heck? You're not using mana any longer, so just a waste of HP. Oh, yeah, okay, you survived there. This was close though. Okay, you should be farming. Like as said before, you should be getting the mid tower instead. Tell your team to ward properly so you can do something. Okay, this was great. Nice combo. I don't think it was planned. This was just a bad hook, bad arrow again. But it played out well. Okay, you start pushing finally, and you go back to mid. I'm not sure about that one either. Like, the enemy doesn't have as much counter push potential when Necrophos is down. Okay, Spirit Break is a pain in the ass. So is Omni Knight, but I think you should be definitely, especially when you are 3 people bottom, try to freaking get that tower. The Monkey King managed to push or to get more hits on the tower than you did, which is actually pretty odd. Yeah, you could swap when nothing's happening. Just put them into your backpack, which is a pretty safe method. Like before, you had to drop them on the ground, which was risky a lot of times. Okay, yeah, you got the tower lasted there. I like that. This was good. Okay, you get the deny even, which is also great. You paid attention to that. You're shrining up. Yeah, this time you used it. I'm not sure why you don't use it when you just bottle up. When someone's when nobody's there, you can use it, even when you bottle up. So you get more out of it. Okay, you get a TP. Okay, let's see what you do there. Okay, you kill the Necrophos instantly. This is good. This was good. Okay, I don't know what where you're diving there. This guy just bought his sacred relic. This is bad. Okay. Where did the so unlucky. There was the arrow hitting. If this arrow would have committed and not hit the Spectre, you would have killed the. You would have gotten away probably. Dum 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 dum. You're dead. Just gonna fast forward while you're dead. What you gonna do next? Okay, you make a deep ass dive, which is good. This guy used his mana to kill the Mirana. You just now. I'm not sure. Yeah, like you should be using the soul ring more often, especially like before, when you burn through a lot of mana at once. Oh, 18 minutes in, you got your first rune. Yeah. Make more use of thread switching, regening, stuff like that. Almost have as much mana as HP. Sometimes this is really inefficient to walk back to the base, especially in the early game. You could use the shrines, plural. Whoops, wrong button. And make use of that region. Okay, yep, you're regioning up. Okay, like it seems like you sometimes go AFK. Make sure to fully commit, and you don't have to wait till you're full mana, full HP before you TP, because you're still staying in base for another 2 seconds. So, oh, you cancelled it. That's weird. So yeah, just make sure that you don't need to get full HP and full mana before you can go. Okay, yeah, that's good. Oh, you got your, yeah, that's good. That's fine. You got your Bloodstone, which is good. Like the second you got Bloodstone, those deep dives and long range ball lightnings really pay off if you manage to get some kills. And the return on mana is pretty fast then. Like, This is somehow sad. Unfortunately, this guy hooks a lot of strange people. I'm not sure what you're doing there. Oh, you want to start split pushing. That's great. Oh, yeah, that would have been nice if that arrow connected to something. Yeah, just get out. When there's that many people, the Spirit Breaker is probably charging. Just TP out. You're being really inefficient just standing there. You could be split pushing the top lane. Like 4 or 5 people are bottom right now. You should have simply TP'd out like before and taken this tower, because like it's the maximum distance between bot and top. They committed a lot, even TPs, I think. So the top tower should definitely die. And instead, I think when the Spirit Breaker is there, you are pretty much scared. And yes, you are. Okay, I don't get the orchid thing. Like your biggest threat, I think, is the R4izz3n here, and as well as the Spirit Breaker, because you cannot dodge his spells with your ball lightning, but everything else can be dodged. So I think you should definitely be investing in the Lincoln Sphere. Bloodstone is usually an item. I would consider like a fighting farm. Like it's a hybrid between fighting and farming. You can farm more efficient with it, but your fighting is also way stronger because you simply have the mana. Like this is just one of the most efficient items on stormspirit. Yeah. Like in that case, when you know the Necrophos is around and probably has an ult, make sure that you get back. Especially when he has a blink dagger, because it is most likely that the Spirit Breaker will just charge at you. Yeah, just simply because they don't want you to get a lot of Bloodstone charges. Okay, this is bad. You should be carrying a lot of Revelation. This is even worse. And this is just plain stupid. Okay, you survive, I think. This was good. Again, like this Pudge sometimes does really game-changing hooks. Yeah, I think itemization is wrong here, but I said that before. For me, like, you could have made more use. Like, I don't really get why you get the Orchid here. I don't see anyone who you really want to Orchid except for the Omni Knight. But since a lot of your damage also comes, like your auto attack damage is fine, but a lot of damage comes from Overload as well as Static Remnant and Ball Lightning. So you're fine even if the Omni Knight uses his ult, but let's see how you use the Orchid. Okay, you're farming. I think, like, I don't know why this tier 1 is still up. You should definitely be split pushing all the time. Focus less on jungling, start more split pushing. Even when the Spirit Breaker is around, you know that you can, like, Spirit Breaker is bad for you because it's hard to escape, but I think if you see 3 people bottom, like the Spirit Breaker pretty much isn't able to solo kill you because like, he has a blade mail, which yeah, he needs to start you hitting him before he deals enough damage. So I think you could be split pushing when you know that most of the team is there. Okay, you go for a kill there, which you almost failed to get, but you got it, which is good. Okay, this is good. Like okay, now you should definitely be getting a tower. I hope you do something as a team. Okay, yep, you start pushing. This is good. You manage to get things. I think okay, this is good. You defended. You could have gotten some hits onto the tower, I think, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So I think going back was a good idea here. At this stage of the game, I would start saving for buybacks, because if like you have solo defending potential, if you're quick, you can dive in, cast a remnant, get out, and everything should be fine. And you can just kill their creeps since they have nothing to summon and stuff like that. You should be fine, but okay, your team's dying. You getting back is definitely the wrong decision here, the right decision here, pardon me. Oh, okay, this was really lucky that you still had a sentry there. You fight in the shrine, you should be getting out. Okay, you are. Make sure that you try to not dive twice in situations like that, because the initial mana is pretty high. And I think it's higher than simply charging for further distance. Okay, like the MK kill was good. After that it went shitty. Okay, this is sad and bad. Okay, at times like this, I can only recommend you to not try defending. You can keep them away from your towers, but when something like that happens, just make sure you start split pushing. And I think, like, just because, as said before, these guys do not have the best split pushing potential, you could have like skipped the power treads and went for TP boots immediately, so you could really split push a lot, stuff like that. This would have been a playstyle. I think this would have been great, because your team can form and stack up, and the Luna can push in that scenario, and you can push another lane. So you should definitely be able. I think by now all the tier 2s could have been dead. But I think you pretty much feel unsafe all the time, and this is, I think, because of the fact that you didn't get the Lincoln Sphere. Okay, yeah, you get kills like that, which is good. You get a little nervous with the ball lightning and you spam it really much without hitting in between. At least I think so. Or I assume it. Okay, this is greedy. And this is worse. This guy took way too long, sadly. Like, try to, when you initiate, try to be on, like, at least when you are in, be on 50% of your mana, or somewhere around that. Okay, here switch treads. Same goes for shrine than anything else. Okay, unfortunate, like, a lot of people were there. I said, like, you should be reading some more, I think, instead of trying to force as many fights. The enemies do not have such flash farmers, so I think you should at least get some defensive mechanisms in order to survive longer. Okay, now that you get the Lincolns, you didn't make. I think you used the Orchid like once, yet again, like you get items, but okay, this was good. You survived. You got a regen, which is good. Your team should know by now that the enemies are probably rushing. Let me just check it. And yup, they are. And you're not contesting it, which is not good. You could definitely be contesting it. I think, like, in the Roche pit, it's easy for Pudge to hit a hook. It's easy for Mirana to hit an arrow. So I think you could be contesting. And when you hit an arrow and you see all the people running out, you can initiate, because it starts a lot of chaos. I think so. Okay, gonna speed up a little again. Yeah, you're not saving for buyback, which I think is pretty greedy. You could at least be doing something else when the enemies are pushing in, and you didn't even really split push like once, which I don't get why. Okay, yeah, this was greedy, like really long range dive. Your team fights are getting worse and worse. You really start throwing there. You always split up, and yeah, hence you start dying. Okay, gonna fast forward a little. It's always boring to see dead people hanging around. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Okay, you should be able to defend, you know. What's going on? You dive really, really fast. I'm not sure why this guy is your first priority target. And just because he's low health, I think you shouldn't be focusing him just because of that. Because, as said before, this guy definitely has yeah, like, he can stop you from killing people, which he just did, and this guy can shred you to bits if he gets an ult off. And yeah, another thing why the dying, like being greedy and dying with stormspirit is bad is because the bloodstone really gets worse and worse every time you die if you do not manage to get up the stacks. The thing there, wrong target to silence. This guy could have been dead 100%. Just look at it. Okay, he hits you. This is a little bit frustrating. Again, this Mirana doesn't hit an arrow. Okay, let me check that. He gets hooked. You start killing him. And you do not use the orchid for a long duration. Like, your damage gets amplified when you use the orchid. And I think this could simply be a misclick. I think you noticed that you should be use the orchid on the necrophos. Okay. Didn't see that as good. I thought you used it on the MK. If you would have used it in the beginning on the MK or when the necrophos approach instead of missing, he would have died because of the damage he gets afterwards. Just imagine, like, you almost burn to death in like 5 seconds and 30% extra damage. Even a necrophos here can't do much against that. Okay, now they're shredding your base, and you're too scared to do something because, like I said, you don't have a buyback. You can fend them off at least a little. Like, this guy has no mana. You should be aware of the mana cost of the size. Yeah, of the scythe. It's bad that you guys are not saving for buybacks. Because you should be. I think you definitely have. If you're all up, it's really hard for them to go up uphill. You have a Bloodseeker who can constantly spam his Blood Rite. You have a Luna who can just auto attack and splash, cleave around. Ooh, and you die. Okay, this was bad. I think it's over now, so... Okay, to sum it up again. What I saw this game was that you did not utilize, again, like, you do not utilize your regen as well as the shrine, and which you definitely should be doing. I think this is just a bad habit from playing carry, because as a carry you cannot rely on all these sources of regeneration. Another thing I said before, as in the Wind Ranger game, and I think you should be starting focusing on it, because I told you that like 3 times, and you want to improve, and I think you should use the nodes to improve. And yeah, you could definitely make more use of jungling early on, like prepare stacks for when in a time where you do not have anything to do. Simply prepare stacks, which you can farm the second you have a high level remnant and a high level, what's it called, overload, and then you can farm more efficient. In addition, I think that Stormspirit is definitely someone to split push, and you should be split pushing more, even if that means that you have to get your own wards. Just think of it. If you feel safe and you manage to get 2 waves while pushing in to the enemy's towers, you get a lot of more intel about the enemy's position, you get a lot of more gold. Like, just think about the return of invest. If you invest 65 gold into getting 2 creeps, you got 25 gold in return. And even especially if you not die, the gold and experience given will always pay off. If I don't want to say it's your job, but yeah, we say that really often in the forums, that it's not bad to get a ward as a core player, especially in lower MMR section, or overall. Like, if you have the feeling that you do lack vision, then simply get one, because it seems a little cocky, because like it's an insult to the supports for not getting it. But in this game you just had 1 support, and I can absolutely understand that this guy from time to time wants to get a single item, because like Pudge without items is not the strongest one. That's why he's usually played at position 4. And because of his strong rotations with the Hawk. Another thing is that, yeah, I'm not sure why you're like the item order again. You should really think of it like, what do I need to either do my job as split pushing or fighting? And I don't think that going for defensive, like for an really offensive item like an Orchid, is worth it when you are in fear of dying by a Reaper's Scythe, as well as a Spirit Breaker charge and ultimate, which can simply hold you in place. Like in the same term, a BKB would have been useless because all of this shit goes through BKB, so it wouldn't have paid off. You could just play around the Omni Knight ult, I think. Your damage does not come from main physical sources, but is like a hybrid. So I think you should also be able to deal damage even if the Omni Knight uses his items. Yeah, another factor is that you shouldn't get too greedy, especially with Bloodstone. Like when you have 30 Bloodstone charges, it might be okay, but with just 13 charges, I think it's pretty risky if you lose some. The item almost gets rendered useless pretty fast, stuff like that. And you definitely need to look out for that. Yeah, that's basically it, to sum it up. So I hope you enjoy watching the video and you can take something from it for sure, and see you next time around.